So we did think about selling our sailboat Beetle that we've restored partially because we just don't get enough time to finish it off. So we put it up for a project, but no one wants to buy it, not at the price that we think it's worth selling it for. We've done a lot of sailing this year, so we decided let's try and carry on and finish it, and who knows, we might even get to sail Beetle, maybe this year or maybe next. So the first thing we've got to do, well, now we've done all the outside, is the mast and get the rigging ready. So Josh can do some work on the mast by taking off all the varnish and sorting it all out, and it's quite a long mast.
So we've wrapped the mast with some tape, and we mixed up some epoxy just down there, and we're just basically making sure the tape's got enough epoxy, because the epoxy will then soak into the bare wood. And we're only just doing this, there's nothing really wrong with the mast apart from where it's actually, you can just see there where the natural wood has just split a little bit along the grain, which is quite a natural thing to do, and we basically wrapped the mast in places like there where it was wrapped before. This is the old wrap just here, and you can see us just over some splits there. These are very, very old, but the one that Jack is redoing up there is basically it became unstuck, so we're just redoing that. And still, the mast is still very solid, no rot in it, and just got these shakes in it, which were filled with some oil-based mastic, just to let it move still without splitting anymore. So we're just trying to stabilise the mast. And there's Jack, just finishing off, just putting some more epoxy, so there's plenty on, so it doesn't all soak into the wood, disappear and come unstuck.
Hang on. Simon, what are you doing with this piece of wood?
It's a piece of metal.
It's a piece of metal? Oh, it looks like wood.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, it's quite heavy.
This is Beetle's mast, which we've been working on.
Yep.
But it's, being a Broads boat, it's designed that the mast can come down to go underneath low bridges. And part of the way of making that easier is to have a counterweight on the short end, the little stubby bit.
Okay.
Beetle doesn't have one.
Oh.
So I'm making one out of steel ballast that I found on Misterton.
Have you taken the ballast out of Misterton?
I've taken out about, I think, 67 kilos of ballast, and I put in about 16 tons, so I think we can live with that.
But I've lost weight as well, Simon, so with my weight loss and that, we're going to be popping out of that water soon.
You've bought more shoes since I ballasted the boat.
Josh is putting the first coat of varnish onto the quant pole, getting it ready for action again.
Drilled lots of holes,
Yeah.
still got more to drill, chopped up some bits of metal. We've made this bit of wood here, we've made a template. It's basically to show us how much room we've got before the mast swings down into the boat. And Josh has marked it up with the location of a bolt that holds the mast in, and also a strap. And I've got to use this to sort of build the counterweight. So that's the idea.
So it's going quite well, is it?
It's going slowly. It was going alright actually, between interruptions. But we're getting stuff done. I think I'm going to have to weld these bits onto that bit, so I'm just figuring out how to do that without setting fire to everything. But the mast is looking good. I mean, it's ready for varnishing really. I just don't know whether we'll have time today because all the boats are going to start coming back. But all the blocks are hanging up, looking good.
Simon's made some little hooks, put all the failing blocks on, and work out what we've got and what we haven't got. So they're looking quite good. They almost look like Christmas decorations, to be fair.
It's Bank Holiday Monday, August 2022, and what better way to spend the evening than by doing a bit of welding. This kind of collection of clamps and bits of wood is holding the steel bars in place that are going to be the counterweight for Beetle's mast, which is stretching off there into the distance. We've got to varnish it. And that's actually the reason I'm doing it now. It's ready for varnishing, but I don't want to weld this stuff to get its shape once the varnish is there, because it's just going to make a big mess. So I thought I'd come over and make a big mess first, and then everyone that's more artistic than me can do the varnishing tomorrow. That's how I'm spending my evening. Let's see if it works. Okay, that is the first weld. It's probably not clear what I'm doing. What I've got is I've got these metal bars were ballast in our boat. I mean, I've got 16 tons of it, so missing a little bit's not going to be a problem. These are actually an odd shape for the stuff that I've got, but they're about the right size to make the counterweight. So what I'm building up, you can see here, is a stack of 4 of them. This template that Steve and Josh made, and I helped a little bit with as well, shows where there's a bolt that goes across to hold the mast up or help hold it up, and that's why I'm building up these 4 to this sort of 100mm thick block. But if I can get a few of them attached, then I'll be able to do the rest of it away from the mast, and then we can sort of bolt it back on, in theory. What I need to do now is roll the mast over so I can weld that side of this first block, and then we'll try building things up from there. So I'm just going to carefully flip it over just by grabbing this, as long as I don't roll it off the edge. And I need to remember that it's very hot. I'm actually going to go down here and move this one across so it's got space to turn. Right, dismantle all this and try the next bit. Okay, there's the third weld, I think, which is holding the second block on. I've put this clamp on the end because, I mean, even though these are huge bits of metal, the heat can sometimes cause things to warp and distort. So that's looking all right. What I'm going to do is a little bit down here just to hold these two together, and then finally for tonight I'll just put a couple of tacks each side there to keep those blocks, and then all 4 of those are together. This is the first little tack done. That is the final bit of welding for tonight. I'm just going to check a little bit more off it. That's it. So basically I've used the mast, this kind of angled bit where the lead weight would have gone, as a template. It's quite hot for welding these bits together. And you can see because of the size and the step they don't quite line up, but that's all going to be okay. What we're going to end up with, this is the top face of the mast, we'll probably film a bit later, but we're going to have a stack of these blocks bolted on top. That will give a weight of almost 70 kilograms, and then we'll see if we need any more. But it's kind of using the bits that we've got rather than going out and buying lead, which is quite expensive. But if we need to, we can do it later on, but we need to see how this mast goes. What I'm doing is drilling lots of holes in blocks. So this is the bit that we've already done on the mast, which I need to finish, but I've drilled and tapped for a thread. It's not going to be this long, but this will go in here, and then we'll be able to add these blocks onto it to build up the weight. But in order to do that, I need to drill holes through all of them. A bit like weights on a weight machine at a gym when you add the extra stack on, so it's going to be that sort of effect. And if we need to add a bit more weight, we can either replace them with lead blocks later on, or if I find some more, I can drill some more holes and make it bigger. I can explain this bit actually, because this drill, which you remember Mary driving to Chelmsford to get with me years ago, is a magnet drill. So if I turn the switch on, it then attaches itself to the steel, and the thicker the steel, the better it holds on. So it's actually ideal for what we're doing. The bit on top is the first one I've drilled, so I'm using it as a pattern to line up the holes. So just have to make sure that goes in there. Turn on the magnet, and then when I drill down through it, it's held on the top one, but it's actually drilling the hole in the one underneath. It's just using the top bit as a guide. This is a bit of cutting fluid. Give a little bit of that, and then turn it on. So this is the first coat of varnish, which is, I think, always the most satisfying one. It's been thinned out just to make it soak into the wood a bit, but you can see where it's not been done and where it's been done. It just looks really nice. I don't know how many coats we're going to put on this, maybe 5 or 6, but for the next week or so we'll do a coat of varnish and then leave it to dry, and then put the mast back on the boat. This collection of objects isn't a piece of modern art, though it could be. It's all the bits for the counterweight for Beetle's mast. Matthew and Josh spent most of the afternoon cleaning these up, smoothing off the edges here just to help the paint stick, and then cleaning them up with wire brushes and things like that. And then tomorrow they'll get a coat of epoxy, so that'll be the next stage in the project. The mast itself has had 2 coats of varnish, so it's looking good. We're just going to build up more and more coats. I don't know, we might do 6 or 7, depends how keen we get.
Simon, you're rubbing this down, ready for another coat of varnish, is that correct?
Yes, I think it's had 5 coats so far, and I think you give it a light rub down to get rid of any high spots. I'll probably give it another 2, and then that'll be that.
So we're on coat number 6 coming up now.
It will be, yeah, when we get around to it.
Fantastic. What coat number is this?
6, I think.
Coat number 6.
It's 6, I think, because one didn't get done yesterday. So what we're doing today is the mast. We've done a repair on it. It's been, I think it's had 7 coats of varnish. All the counterweights are ready on the trolley down there. So now what we're going to do is put it all back together. When we bought Beetle, it came with a big folder full of history and stuff, and one of the things was these instructions that show how the rigging goes. So in a break with tradition, as men, Josh and I are actually going to read the instructions and try and put it back together the way it came. So we've got all these wires to attach. They help the mast stay up when it's on the boat. Once we've got those lined up, we're going to lift the mast down and put it on Beetle and put the counterweight on, see if it works.
Exciting. Indeed. Put the mast onto Misterton with all the new gubbins on it, and I've been given the lubricant to carry. That's my job, to do the lubrication.
So this is some anti-corrosive grease that we've got that is made from the oil that you get from sheep's wool.
Oh.
Do you want to have a little sniff?
Oh my God.
I'm from New Zealand, this is practically aftershave.
Don't wear it to entice me, darling. So the hatch is open so we can see it going in.
And also because there's a boat down there.
Yeah.
So it'll just be easier to take it off.
So Beetle's got her mast back. She's getting ready slowly. Next thing is the counterweights, the sails, and then we might even have a little go.